What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Please excuse the streaks, these lights. I don't really know how to fix that. It's coming from the curtain, so I don't know. I don't want to tell the sun to go away or anything, you know what I mean? But I started thinking, right? And this all has to do with the iOS 13 and more so of the older devices. And I kind of made a video like this early on, but I kind of want to reiterate some of the claims and even come up with some new things and some supporting facts. Because, I'll be honest, it's not really looking too good for the older devices that are going to be supported for iOS 13. Now, in my opinion, like I stated, I have the iPhone 6s right here, but like I've said before, I'm pretty sure the iPhone 6s is going to be supported as well as the iPhone 6s, which I have right here. Both of these phones are very, very good. They're still very powerful phones, and I think they're very solid. They're going to be supported, as well as the iPhone SE that's probably going to be supported. I said this yesterday, but the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus probably are not going to be supported. And I say probably, and I mean that with so much power because I honestly do not know if it is or if it's not. I'm only giving my opinion. So I think the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are not going to be supported. They're very good phones at the time, but I don't think they're going to be supported because of the low RAM and just how pretty much slow these phones are. So that's kind of taking care of that issue. Now, here's the thing. Yesterday we saw that report, and we already kind of knew about this too, but the report pretty much stated, and I'll put it on the screen just for you guys know, it pretty much said that Apple is kind of having a hard time with the older iPhones because people are keeping their phones even longer. So the rate in which people used to update has decreased. So people before were only upgrading their phones every 2 years. Now they're upgrading their phones every 4 years. So people are noticing that there's really not much improvements, not that much craziness going on with the newer phones. They're like, I'll just keep the older ones because they're still perfectly fine. They still function perfectly fine. I can still use it perfectly. There's really nothing that speaks to me that the iPhone 6s, iPhone SE or whatever are slow phones at all, and a lot of people are noticing that. So with that being said, the reason this all kind of supports and goes back to iOS 13 is that Apple's supposed to be putting so many new features out there. It's basically supposed to be a whole new redesign, right? So here's the thing. If Apple goes and does that, and because, in my opinion, the iPhone 6s, SE, and 6s Plus are going to be supported, there could be a possibility that Apple will restrict some of the newer cool features and save them for the newer iPhones and not necessarily put them on the older iPhones. And the reason I say that is because if the older iPhones support those features, then nobody's going to upgrade to the newer ones. They're just going to keep their older ones because they all pretty much the exact same thing. And I say the iPhone 6s is going to be the most affected iPhone here, but here's the thing. The iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are also technically older iPhones as well. So could it be that Apple is going to restrict some of the features on iOS 13 on these two phones as well? Now, I really hope that's not the case because I really, really like both of these phones. They're very solid phones. But if Apple goes and does this, then that's going to be a pretty large sector of the population of iPhone users who are going to be affected by restricted features. Now, you could say to yourself, oh, the Apple's not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're going to put all the features on all the phones. But that's not always been the case. Even going back to just iOS 12, with the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, they restricted some of the features on iOS 12. There were some Siri features that were supposedly taken out, but they were added in. But with group FaceTime, both of these phones did not support it, and not the iPhone 5s either. They both still do not support group FaceTime. And I already showed in a video a long time ago that both of these phones have the capability of doing group video calls. It's really not that difficult. I opened up House Party and that was that. But for some reason, Apple did not put that feature or those features and many more on the iPhone 6 or on the iPhone 6 Plus or even on the iPhone 5s. So that's a pretty big thing right there. And so with that, we can only predict future success from past things that they've done in the past. So in my opinion, even though the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are probably not going to be supported anymore, that's going to be a pretty big sign of what they're going to do to the older iPhones. So in my opinion, this news that Apple has been, being kind of compromised a little bit because of their older iPhones, because people aren't upgrading as much, only makes me believe that they're going to still support the older iPhones. They're still going to put the best they can, best chipset, whatever. But after a certain amount of time, once that iPhone becomes somewhat obsolete and it's kind of hurting the company, they're only going to put the cool major features on the top tier, top end phones. I would say anywhere from the iPhone 10 onwards. I don't know if the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are going to be affected by this. It could very well be the case, but I have no data on that yet. But if I had to say it, the iPhone 6s, 6s Plus SE, quite possibly the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus as well, could be restricted in some features on iOS 13. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. And it's not like these reports have said anything that we don't know, but based off their analysis, this is basically what we're seeing, and hopefully Apple does not do this. I would hate to have that. I would hope to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong in this case. But honestly, it just does not seem like it because they've done these things in the past, and it seems like they're only going to continue doing them, especially in the climate we're in, where people are only keeping their phones even longer. Apple wants to make a reason for people to upgrade, and they can't do that on just hardware alone. So I think software is going to be the biggest thing where people are going to start upgrading to the newest iPhone. So kind of sad news right there. Hopefully Apple doesn't do this, but I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.